Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk to you about the Mauryan Empire and how from the map of India changed from this to this. So, it all started in the year 500 BC when there were more than 16 major kingdoms. Each kingdom was called Janpada. Some kingdoms got more powerful, wealthier, larger, and therefore they were called Mahajanpadas. The word Maha basically means great in modern Hindi. As time passed, one of the Janpadas, actually Mahajanpadas, which we became later on, Magadha, started conquering most of the northern Indian parts without actually losing any of its. And therefore, by the year 350 BC, under the Nanda dynasty, it had conquered most of northern India and had reached the border of modern Pakistan. Before Alexander's invasion, in India, a philosopher known as Chanakya, and his second name is known as Kautilya, thought of a dream of a united India, where all of the 16 and more kingdoms were united under one whole empire. He found a student, Chandragupta Maurya, in his early teens, and he trained him to become an emperor throughout his entire life. Roughly about the same time, Alexander the Great from Macedonia upon his mission of conquering the world. He conquered the weak Greek city-states which were having a war with each other for a long time and who also had faced the Persian War. After conquering them, he conquered the Persian Achaemenid Empire, which once used to rule over 44% of the world's population, but it still couldn't maintain being an empire itself. He also went and conquered Egypt, and then finally his dream was about to come true when he passed the Hindu Kush mountain range and entered India. In India, the ruler of the Mahajanpath of Kandara surrendered to Alexander the Great, and he decided to become allies with him. Whereas the ruler of the Janpada of KK, which was much weaker and a much smaller kingdom, decided to fight Alexander the Great. In that war between Alexander the Great and King Porus, King Porus had a very large army and elephants which none of the Greeks had ever seen in their entire life. The Greeks came up for the strategy for this war. They started beating the elephants of King Porus, which got really mad and destroyed Porus' own army and letting to him get defeated. When Alexander the Great asked King Porus that how he should be treated, Porus replied by saying, "Treat me as a king," which impressed Alexander the Great, and he offered him to keep his own country and also provide his new land. Alexander the Great then started to look for other parts of northern India, and especially the Nanda. But since his soldiers were injured, homesick, and for many other reasons, they wanted to go back and leave, and he then was forced out of India in the year of 317 BC. After leaving, Alexander the Great set up many satraps and many local rulers to rule local areas of the eastern Achaemenid Empire, and he soon left. But however, he died, and we all know he died in Babylon. In 322 BC, Chandragupta Maurya, with his army from people of the kingdom Magadha and other kingdoms that really hated Magadha because of the fact that the Nanda kings of Magadha used to have a very high taxation, which made them rich obviously, but the poor citizens of Magadha were so poor that they were really annoyed due to the Nanda king's torture and harsh laws, and they were really upset with him. And quite a big number of them wanted him to be overthrown. That's why they supported Chandragupta's army instead. And in 322 BC, Chandragupta Maurya led his army outside Patliputra, which was the capital of the Nanda Empire. A little bit outside the capital, the army of Chandragupta Maurya fought the Nandan army. In that war, the Nandan army completely got defeated, and Chandragupta Maurya hence conquered Patliputra. The Nandan king at that time, Dhanananda, it's not really known what happened to him, but sources say that he either left or he died, or he got killed by Chandragupta Maurya's army. Any one of these three could be the actual answer. Chanakya then crowned Chandragupta Maurya as the emperor of the Nanda dynasty, and soon after that, Chandragupta Maurya, with his new army, empire, wealth, and systems, collective power together, started to conquer the leftover satraps of Alexander the Great, which were indeed weak because Alexander the Great had left, but also the local satraps were fighting each other. Chandragupta Maurya took that advantage and defeated all of them, establishing his territory throughout most of northern Afghanistan. Later, however, in 305 BC, one of the successors and satraps of Alexander the Great, Seleucus I Nicator, decided to invade India and thus faced the Mauryan army under the command of Chandragupta Maurya. The war happened. However, Seleucus I Nicator lost badly, in which Chandragupta Maurya decided to marry Seleucus I Nicator's daughter. And in return, Chandragupta Maurya offered 500 war elephants to Seleucus I Nicator. And as you already know, the Greeks had never seen them, so that's why they thought this was very, very important to have animals that the rest of the world probably had not seen. Later on the year, as the Mauryan Empire extended under Chandragupta Maurya's son, Bindusara. Bindusara is the emperor that is known least among the best three emperors of the Mauryan dynasty. First is Chandragupta Maurya that established the dynasty, but the second one in this list, which could be technically the first one, is Ashoka, Chandragupta Maurya's grandson, which is the person and the Mauryan emperor that the world most knows about. Bindusara is a mystery because some people state that he conquered 16 major and minor kingdoms between the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal, extending his boundary towards most of southern India except leaving the very far south. Other than the except very far south, the only kingdom that was left conquered was the kingdom of Kalinga, which is today roughly around this area of the modern Indian state of Odisha, which was conquered by Ashoka the Great. Yes, Ashoka the Great, and I'll explain you later in the next video why he's called Ashoka the Great. In the Kalinga War, more than 150,000 people had lost their lives, including 10,000 of Ashoka's own warriors, and more than 100,000 people were left homeless. After this great battle, Ashoka wrote a stone edict carved in the Brahmi script of that time to his people, saying that how sorry he was for killing those many people and getting them homeless and poor, and thus therefore Ashoka accepted the path of Buddhism and became a Buddhist and started preaching that how everyone should follow the path of peace. After that, Ashoka did not fight any war. He did not conquer the southern states of India that Bindusara had left. Instead, he allied with them and also had his tributary states roughly in today known as northeastern India. Under his rule, the Mauryan Empire reached its zenith in 265 BC. And therefore, the Mauryan Empire's journey to its zenith has been completed. In the next video, you'll get to know about the life, society, economy, and the government administration of the Mauryan Empire, and why it is known as one of the best administration systems recorded in history, which remained the best administration system in India until the British Empire of the 19th century, more than 2 millennia later. Thanks for watching. I'll see you for the next video.